everybody, it's Abigail Ockwell here and welcome back to another WIP and Chat. Excuse me. Now if you're new here, WIP stands for Work in Progress. Today I'm working on my Drills and Chills project, which is Angelique by Diamond Art Club. And yeah, without further ado, we will get into it. I'll just zoom you in a little bit. There we go. Can you see what I'm doing? I apologise if it sounds a little bit noisy in the background. I do have a fan on because it's got really, really muggy again. There we go, I'm going to do that. So, how is everybody doing? I really hope you're all having a great day, evening, whatever you happen to be doing. So, yeah, gosh, this week, it's been a rather interesting week, I guess, in a way, because on Thursday night, they obviously announced that the Queen had died, which, you know, was kind of a shock, but sort of they were calling all the royal family together on that Thursday. They sort of be like, look, you may want to come to Balmoral, which was the Queen's favourite of her 3 palaces. And now, after 70 years of the Queen on the throne, we're going to be singing God Save the King again, which is very strange, actually, for a lot of people, because, you know, so many of us are used to singing God Save the Queen, and now we're going to be singing God Save the King. And, you know, to try and make it more normal for myself, I've been trying to sing the national anthem with the revised words at least once a day. So, I've been singing God Save the King once a day. At least, or even saying God Save the King at least once a day. Well, definitely, I've definitely reached my quota for today with God Save the King. Is there a quota? I don't think so. I don't think there's like an actual, you know, limit when a monarch dies that you can say God Save the King or God Save the Queen. But no, my mum was saying, you know, it's very strange because all her life there has been a queen. And up to now, all my life, there has been a queen, and now it's kind of the word, everything's changing to king. It's, for a lot of people, it's very, very strange. You know, because obviously, you know, now our kids are going to be learning about, you know, the late Queen, and they'll be learning about her in history, and it's sort of very strange and very sort of surreal. So on the Thursday when it was announced, we were actually having a board game this night, and so we had my best friend Robin and her husband Will with us when that was announced, which, you know, was obviously very strange. And it's especially strange for Will because, you know, he hasn't been in this country for a long time. So For those of you who don't know, my best friend's husband, Will, is American. And yeah, so for him to sort of understand what's going on, you know, he is struggling a bit, and you know, that's completely understandable with him sort of, you know, not being in the country very long. It's completely understandable. So he actually did ask PJ, my friend, actually, what, you know, what happens, you know, what would happen if say the royal family died. So in the event, let's say sort of all the immediate royal family died. So if, say, King Charles III had died before he got to be king, he would then be succeeded by his brother Edward, and if all his children died, then it would be his younger brother Andrew. There we go. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember the whole tree. And then it would be their older sister Anne. So you're probably thinking, right, why would Anne sort of be made, you know, pushed at the back with all, you know, when to her brothers when she's older than her two brothers? So the reason for that, this is going to get complicated. So this is on the very, very unlikely event that sort of, you know, Charles and his children, so Charles and his eldest son, William, and his children died on the thing that sort of if, you know, all of the elder lot died. So, for example, we'll say sort of they've all died, and Anne, and we're now going to have a Queen Anne. So the reason why she would be the last to inherit is because when Princess Charlotte, no, not when Princess Charlotte, when Prince George was born, which is William's eldest son, you know, an act was signed by the Queen to say, you know, that the eldest child would inherit, would become the monarch after their father died, whether that was a boy or a girl. And I think sort of everybody really wanted it to be a girl, because then it would be, oh, their eldest child is a girl, so therefore at some point in our lifetime we will have another queen. But it was a boy, so therefore it kind of didn't make a lot of difference. So basically, the act was passed from when the Duchess of Cambridge and the Duke of Cambridge's eldest child was born. So obviously, because Anne was born before that, it would mean that you know, that would still be a thing. She would sort of still be the last out of the family to inherit. And then basically if she and all her children died, it would then go to Charles's second son, Harry. But no, it would be very, very unlikely that all of the sort of immediate line of succession were wiped out. You know, there is like so much extended, there are so many cousins and everything that the Queen had that, you know, it would go to one of them. So yes, it would be very unlikely that the whole of the royal family would be wiped out. The only time that that would really happen would be if, say, there was an uprising and we decided to get rid of our monarchy like we did for a brief time, which we then actually decided, you know what, we actually enjoyed having monarchs because they actually brought us fun. And like Oliver Cromwell, who he banned Christmas. He banned fun. You know, he believed that Christmas was a distraction from everything. Like, I mean, you weren't even allowed to go to church on Christmas because he outlawed it, which, you know, is a little bit stupid. But anyway, that's another bridge that we'll cross later. But yeah, so obviously the Queen has died, so now the United Kingdom is currently in national mourning. And what that is 12 days where the country basically mourns. And yeah, it's sort of everything closes the evening that, so I believe it's bars, pubs and restaurants have to close, you know, everything effectively, you know, closes. The cinema hasn't been closed because it is actually, the guidelines are, it is actually up to the business owner's discretion to whether you close or not. Now, we are closed next Monday, thank God, because there were sort of talks in our weekly sort of letter, our newsletter, that we would be closed until at least after the funeral had happened. And yeah, basically we got an email yesterday, rather 11th hour, after Dan had done the rotas and everything, to say, oh yeah, just letting you know we're all going to be closed on the day of the funeral, which was a bit like, oh, for flip's sake. Because he had been about to publish the rota as well, so, you know, was obviously very sort of 11th hour. I think we literally got, we literally got the email from head office, I believe, at 6 o'clock, and then I put a thing on our staff Facebook page saying So for when people got their rota, they were all like, oh, why are we all off on Monday? And also so it would be clear that we would not be open. Because of where the camera is, I'm kind of having to diamond paint at an angle, so I do apologise if this isn't the most clearest, or my voice is sounding louder in some bits and quieter in other bits. It's just because of this used to, you know, my bedroom used to only just hold me, and now in the last sort of couple of years I've got, you know, Josh has moved in, and now there are two of us, and in theory this room really is too small for two people. So yeah, you know, the floor is very messy, you know, I've got clothes piled up, there are boxes, you know, there's just stuff, and we're still waiting for the inheritance to come through so that me and Josh can start looking for a place. But no, so basically, on Monday, it will be the Queen's funeral. And then in about a year, we will have King Charles III's coronation. So yeah, that will be fun. So probably, I'm going to want to say June, August. Like between 3 months, so probably about June, July, August time, we will have a coronation of the new king. It's, you know, it has actually sunken in now that the Queen has died. It actually sunk in properly for me yesterday, because I had sort of 3 days and I was off over the weekend, as I always am, because, excuse me, Dan has basically decided that because I'm doing admin effectively full time, I don't have to sort of work weekends, and I always have sort of Tuesdays off anyway. So I have a fixed schedule. It's nice, and it's great for me to work around with sort of videos, and it's going to be great for me, especially near the end of the month, where I'm going to start doing my creepy stories again. And obviously last year, because you know, I was a regular team member at the place that I worked, it was, you know, it was you know, very difficult. But now I've actually got that fixed, more or less that fixed schedule. I know when I'm off, I know when I'm on, and I know how long I'm going to be working. I can work around it. It's not an issue for me. So probably over the weekends will be when I film my creepy stories, and then probably try and get it out in the week. So it might go up to 2 videos a week in October. But yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't thought about it properly. It's, you know, with all this happening, it's, you know, it's really not, you know, being the best time to sort of start sort of thinking about that. So anyway, that is where we at. So like I was saying, when actually no, I might sorry, I'm just trying to think, because I really don't have that much to talk about. So this is probably going to be, this WIP and Chat is probably going to be a little bit not the best. If I'm honest, it's going to be very higgledy-piggledy and all over the place, which, you know, I'm fine with, but I know for some people they might not be. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I've got something in my throat. Oh gosh. I wonder if I'm catching that thing that Josh has got. Oh no. So both Josh and PJ have had this throat infection for like the last week. Well, actually, PJ developed it Sunday. Josh developed it. When did Josh develop it? I want to say Friday evening. No. It would have been Wednesday. Because he didn't really take part in the board games. Well, it wasn't really a board game. It was a really fun game called Muffin Time that we played, and I won. Yeah, we only had, I think it was like one round, because it can go on for a really long time. But yeah, Will had to go to work the next day. Like I say, this is going to be very sort of jumping around a little bit. I'm trying to think. I'll try and at least stretch it to like 45 minutes, so it's definitely going to be a ramble. But yeah, oh. So yeah, currently at the moment on the news it's a lot of coverage about the Queen, you know, about the Queen's coffin going to places. And it's actually back at Buckingham Palace, where I think it will stay tonight, and then it will go to the Palace of Westminster, off the top of my head. But anyway, that is that. So what happened? I'm trying to think what happened. Oh yeah, I'm going to backtrack a bit to the next day, Friday. So after we'd heard the Queen had died, we had our regional manager, Neil, and I think the head of HR, off the top of my head, called Tom, who came in to talk about a sort of a thing called Have Your Say, that we do that we do sort of once, sometimes twice a year, depending how bad your scores are. Ours was pretty bad, which is why we had the HR guy and our regional manager Neil in. And you know, the first topic of conversation was obviously the Queen. And we were like all talking, and Neil was sort of saying that he remembers what happened when Princess Diana died. Yes, so the Princess Diana is still very relevant in the UK. Some people loved her, some people hated her. My family are on the sort of side of not liking Diana, but you know, if you're one of those people that like Diana, then okay, I'm not going to judge you for it. But yeah, so we were all talking about it because and what would happen, and we were all speculating that we were probably going to be closed the day of the funeral, and then we had the Cine Weekly saying that oh yeah, we're probably going to be closed until at least after the funeral. It was like, great, okay. And then obviously Monday we had the letter saying we're closed, which is like, yay, I actually get a bank holiday off, which very rarely happens. Normally on bank holidays we are open. I'm umming and ahhing about next week whether I am going horse riding, because originally they were going to move it to Tuesday, but quite a few people couldn't do Tuesday. So I'm umming and ahhing of whether I sort of drive up with the funeral on in my car or what I do, because I don't know right now. I really don't know. But no, like I say, we were all talking about what happened when sort of other royals died, like the Queen Mother and when Diana, Princess of Wales, died. And now Diana died in 1997. And my earliest memory is, this is going to sound really weird and people are probably going to be thinking, she's just making this up. She must have seen it on the telly. But I kid you not, my earliest memory was the funeral procession of Diana, Princess of Wales. It's like, I remember seeing young William and Harry walking behind the coffin, and that's it. That is all I remember. And like I say, I know it sounds really strange and really weird, but that is my earliest memory. And I think my mum said that she had a memory that was before she was 2, so yeah. But anyway, now I've got to think. I've really got to think now. What I might do is I might have a little think about things that have happened in the week and see if I can kind of try and stretch this out, because I do feel quite bad that I'm like sort of already at the end of things that I kind of want to say, because really obviously the big thing was obviously you know, the Queen dying. And yeah, I did put a note at last week's WIP and Chat, sorry, that, you know, obviously my WIP and Chat had very obviously been recorded before the announcement of the Queen's death. I was tempted to do a little thing and like insert it, but I decided not to. I'm really trying to think now. Oh yeah, that's something I can talk about. That's something that's not morbid. Haha, yeah, I found a happy memory. Something happy. I do apologise if this is going to be a very depressing WIP and Chat. It's just because really nothing, like the only thing that has happened is the Queen has died. So I will actually talk about horse riding yesterday, which was obviously Monday. So yeah, like I say, I did what I normally do. I went horse riding yesterday, and I had popcorn again, and yeah, I think honestly I've been riding him constantly, well, effectively for like 2 months solid, and I think probably by this time he's like, oh gosh, it's you again. But no, he knows I won't hurt him. He knows that, you know, I won't do his girth too tight, because he is very sensitive around his girth area. Like when you're trying, like if he isn't tied up, like I say, he will swing around and bite you. And I know I mentioned it last week. But yeah, his shoulder his left shoulder, sorry, is starting to feel, you know, it's still quite hot, but it's certainly starting to feel like it's moving a lot better. And poor thing, he was dealing with flies yesterday, like, because it was so hot yesterday, and now of course today it's all gloomy and overcast. Yeah, no, he was dealing with flies. So when I came into the stable, to his little stall, he was tucking in to hay that was in the stall next to him. So obviously went and said hello. I had a little feel of his shoulder, as I've, you know, I have gotten to that habit of, you know, seeing what his shoulder feels like to what I sort of do with him. You know, I really do care for Popcorn like he is my own horse. One day I'll get my own horse. One day I will get a horse. And, you know, I was like, okay, you're still feeling a little bit, So, I thought, well, it's a nice day. Because the week before, I was gonna suggest we went and did a hack with him. But because the weather last week was so terrible, I was like, nah, we'll lunge him to begin with. But no, it was like, I went in, I was doing all my stuff that I normally would do. You know, sort of talking to him, saying hello, sort of telling him how I was and everything. Yes, I talk to the horse as though it's a person. That is me. I will talk to the horse as if it is a person, even though I know it can't talk back. Even though I know Popcorn can't talk back. What am I saying, it? Popcorn has feelings too. You know, I will talk to Popcorn as though he is a person. Which obviously I know to some people sounds absolutely stupid, but you know, I do talk to animals as though they are people. It's sort of like people that are a little bit mentally disabled. So, for example, I know I mentioned Jenny last week. I haven't actually seen her. Because I've been in the office and I haven't really seen her a whole load. Actually, no, I did see her... When did I see her? I saw her last Wednesday, I think. Pretty sure it was last Wednesday that I saw her. But no, I will just speak to them like they are like a regular human, and I find that people, even you know, if they're mentally handicapped, they actually respond well than sort of if people sort of baby them. Because, you know, they're not babies, they're people. So, yeah, like I say, I talk to Popcorn as if he's a person, even though he can't talk back. People will say horses and animals cannot understand English. Yes, they can. Like, you know, when we're doing stuff, you can say the word. So if, say, you've been trotting, you're like, and now you're going to walk at here. They know what that means. So you have to go, and now you will W-U-A-L-K at A, for example. So far, they haven't figured that out, but Honestly, give them a few years, they will. Because the moment that someone says walk, they'll immediately go into walk, and it's like, excuse me. So yeah, but no, it's the same with like dogs. They know what that word means as well. But no, it's like I say, I was on a thought, but no, like I say, the day that they learn to spell, that's when we're doomed. But no, the thing is with riding school horses is they have learned to ignore the bit. So sometimes when you're asking them to stop, they won't always stop. But no, it was... Please excuse the lizard. But no, Popcorn, you know, was obviously, I think, was very grateful for a nice little walk. He always likes going on a hack. You know, I always prefer to go on hacks when it's hotter. You know, when it's cold, wet and rainy, I'm like, no, we're not doing this. But no, when it got really warm yesterday, it was crazy. But oh yeah, I was talking about the story of when I was in store with him. Oh gosh, I told you this is going to be all over the place. This is going to be all sorts of higgledy-piggledy. So when I was in the store with him, you know, and like I say, I was talking with him and everything. And I did say, oh, should we go for a hack? And he was like, oh, yes. Obviously, he didn't say it, but his body language said yes. So basically what he did is he stopped eating the hay from the other stall. Well, he briefly stopped eating the hay from the other stall. Briefly. And then he decided he was going to go back to the hay. But he was going to give me a nice hug in the process. So I was trapped against his shoulder, his bad shoulder, and the wall of the stall. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, Popcorn, please, can you like back up a bit? And he would not back up. And one of the owners was in the yard doing some handyman stuff, so the husband does like a lot of the handyman stuff, and I was just like, help! And he said, do you need help? I said, yeah, I'm stuck. So he backed Popcorn up, and yeah. So yeah, Popcorn just decided to hug me a little bit too long, I think. But it was a really nice ride. You know, we did, what did we do? We just went sort of around the stable, so we went through the wooded area of the stables. Sort of around the back of one of the fields, and then we came back again. And it's always, you know, it's a shame because I can never go far, because obviously I work on a Monday, so sadly I can never sort of, you know, go for an hour or so. I would love to, I really would, I really would, but I just do not have the time, sadly. At some point I'm going to make time to do all these things that I want to do, but at the moment it is not that time. Because I've got a wedding and, yeah, other things. But, oh, actually, yes, I was going to talk about that as well. See, when I say I can't think of anything, everything else comes flooding back. But, yeah, so, that was my Monday. I've forgotten when it was that we got that email. I think it was... When was it we got that email? I really can't think when we got that email. So we got an email from our CEO. And effectively, what this email is saying is it's basically not looking good for the company that I work for. So probably before too long they're going to start selling off cinemas, but apparently the CEO is a stubborn whatnot and doesn't like doing that, but he's going to have to, basically. Because it's, like I say, it's really not looking good. We'll be probably bought out by one of our other sort of competitors. So probably what they do, like I say, they'll be selling off the cinemas to other places. Now we have another site in Portsmouth. So it's like, if push came to shove, which one would they get rid of? Would they get rid of the one that has the IMAX, or would they get rid of the one that has been refurbished recently? And I mean, it could go either way. It really could. It really could go either way. I don't know if they get rid of us or keep the newer one, because obviously that's probably making them more money. But I mean, we're making a good amount of money at cinema, but we don't know. So yeah, I'm not like panicking yet, but it is kind of starting to get to the point that it might be abandoned ship for too long. There it is. And you know, obviously that's something that I don't say lightly, because I've been working for the company for 5 years. I don't know if I'm gonna sort of stay or whether I get out while I still can before they make me redundant. I really don't know what to do right now. And I mean, you know, I do want a new job, but at the same time I'm like, you know, I'm completely torn. I am torn completely about what to do. I really don't know what to do. But yeah, most likely we will be bought out by another cinema chain. So yeah, that is what is going on with that. Also, what was I going to say? Last weekend, we had the girls over. So yeah, we had my two nieces, Alex and Esme, over. You know, that was alright. But again, Esme was being a little madam. So Esme does not like eating her food. And I mean, Alex was worse. She would not eat anything, but Esme is like, you really have to force her, effectively. So at one point, so during the meal, she wanted her water and she just kept drinking it and drinking it. My brother Steve was really trying to get her to eat, so when he got her to take a bit, I took her water bottle away and she was like, no, because it was her sister. She was like, no, that's Alex's. And I was like, yep, alright, I'm taking it so that you eat. Sorry. And so, yeah, that was effectively how we got her to eat. Because she will effectively try to do anything except what she's told. She will do anything except what she's told. Which, you know, is the complete polar opposite to Alex, as, you know, she's good as gold. However, with what's going on, Alex is trying to sort of act as mum, which, you know, she shouldn't have to do. I don't know any more than what I've already told you in previous videos. Yeah, it's really, you know, getting sort of, I don't know, it's just, it's a strange time. It's a very strange time. You know, because obviously, you know, the girls, they know something's wrong. They're not stupid. But at the same time, their parents are acting like there is nothing wrong. And I'm like, you know, this isn't exactly, you know, the best thing. It's not the most positive thing. Because if obviously, you know, kids know something's wrong, then they will feed on that. And they will, you know, they'll push boundaries, which I think is probably what Esme is doing. She knows that something's wrong and she's pushing boundaries. And poor Steve is really trying. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm still going to invite, you know, their mum to the wedding. You know, I've got nothing against Katie, you know. I'm still inviting her. No matter what her sexual orientation is, you know, I'm inviting her. I just might not, I don't know whether she's gonna go with Steve or what, but I don't know whether I should address it to both of them or just one of them. I really don't know what to do. I'm stuck in that situation. You know, I would love them all to be there, but I don't know. I know Katie thinks that we despise her, but no, we don't. You know, you can't help what you feel. You can't help what your sexual orientation is. Yes, I will say she should have done it before she was married, but you know, you know, what's done is done. So yeah, that is where we stand. Alex, I'm sort of, me and Alex are like really bonding now that I'm sort of there when they're often there, because obviously, like I say, I'm always off on a Saturday, which is when they tend to be coming around. And yeah, me and Alex, we were going to play a Switch game together, but but yeah, it took a long time to load, so therefore we didn't get to play it. They went to the soft play area, and also they have been trying to potty train Esme, which, you know, it now does seem to be going in the right direction, because she actually used our toilet, and, you know, and she went, "Daddy, I did a poo in the toilet," and it was like, we were like, yay, because obviously, you know, at that age, when they do their first, you know, thing in the toilet, you know, it is like, yay, there we go. So hopefully she'll be using the toilet from now on. But anyway, that's all I can think of. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and leave a comment if you would like to. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.